Okay, folks, so next up we're going to do a little video on how to implement the ambiances. So if I have a look at my trusty little folder of content here, you'll note that I've got 4 different layers. I've got wind, water, forest, and air. Now, when we implement this, there's a few things that we want to consider. First off, we want them all to play at the same time, but we also want to have control over them. We could have control over them for a variety, in a variety of different ways. But primarily, we want all of the virtual voices created by the ambience to exist together so they can be controlled together. And we're going to use a blend container to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new work unit for the world, new child work unit, and we'll call this world. Okay, and that's where I'm going to add my content. So I'm going to select all this and drag and drop it into here. Import, perfect. Shabam! Here we are. So first things first, we need to get these into random containers so we can make them loop accordingly. New parent, random container. What was that? Wind, water. No, wind, air. Amb underscore air. And forest, new parent, random container. Amb underscore forest. Water, new parent, random container. Amb underscore water. And wind, new parent, random container. Amb underscore wind. Perfect. So now obviously we need to set up the containers so they play appropriately. So on each one, we're going to switch them to continuous, loop, and our transitions, we'll leave it at 0.5, and that gives us half a second crossfade. Let's just listen to that and see what it sounds like. Now that's pretty good. And you'll note that you don't hear you don't hear a ton of overlap, which is good. I'm not using my headphones right now, I'm just using my PC speakers, but to me they sound okay. Okay, so as with the other stuff, let's go shuffle and let's avoid repeating the last couple just to be safe. Okay, so we'll do that for each one. So shuffle a couple times, continuous mode, loop, transitions, 0.5, enter. Just for each one. Shuffle, couple, continue, loop, transitions, 0.5. And wind. Continuous, loop, transitions, oops, 0.5, oops, 0.5. Alrighty, so now let's just preview them to see. Yeah, water, just gonna be quieter. Forest, and air. Oh, I got them backwards. I named the files inappropriately. Okay, so now to make these all play at the same time, what we're going to do is we're going to highlight all of them, new parent, blend container. And at the moment, all that that's going to do is just allow them to all play at the same time. So if I double click this file to set it to my transport and hit play, there's all of them. Interesting though, while this is going, let's do a little bit of mixing. So if I hit play, okay, I think the wind can be a little bit louder. The water can be about there. Forest can be a little bit quieter. And the air. Now let's do it. I like that. I think that's good. You'll experiment on your own, but I think that's good. Okay, great. So now we need to hook it up to our event. And I honestly can't remember what the event is called, but let's have a look to see what we have. World idle. Game start. Enter pause, exit pause, enemy attack. Okay, so we don't really have an ambient start thing. We don't want it to be world idle, high intensity, low intensity. In my professional opinion, I would probably have a look at the design doc. Okay, the design doc says, game start. Event fires when player is considered in control of gameplay. That's probably a good place we could do it. World idle. Event fires when player has been idle for, oh, okay, so that's a toggle. Let's put it on game start. Let's do it on game start. So game start, double click, and that's where we're going to put our, oops, yeah, that's where we're going to put our ambient container. But I think what we also want to do is we want to change the way that this event starts. Because if we, so here game start event we're on, hit play, it just starts right away. That's okay, but it's a little bit jarring. So let's mess around with this. Let's go new action, and we'll say voice volume, set voice volume, or maybe, yeah, let's do that. So we're going to set voice volume on the ambience. I'm going to move this to the top, up here. And we are going to, oh, new version. We don't need to do that anymore. Oh, technology. Okay, never mind. On the play, we're just going to change the way it fades in over here. So fade time, let's change that to, say, 5 seconds. So now when we hit play, what we should have is we should have a 5-second fade in. 2, 3, 4, perfect. Okay, so that's exactly what we wanted. That's what I was looking for. And fade curve, we'll just leave that alone. That doesn't really bother us so much. Perfect, that's what I wanted. Okay, so that's it for the ambience, but there's a couple things that we need to consider, because if we look at the design doc, what did we say about ambience? This game has a variety. User interface. There should be audio effects attached to the movement of the cursor as well as the selection of the menu items. When any menu becomes active on screen, the soundscape should mute or subdue any ambient effects or sound effects during a menu, UI state, special menu. Okay, so I think what they're getting at there is this menu. Game enter pause, exit pause. These two events we're going to want to use to turn down our ambience. So let's go to game enter pause. We're going to go to new action, and we're going to use voice volume, set voice volume, and let's drag our ambience over there so it knows what we're talking about. Okay, that's one. And then on exit pause, audio, drag this over here, type. That's another way you can do this. So you'll notice instead of doing a new blank action and adding, what I did is dragged it over, and now I'm changing the type to voice volume. On, what is this, exit pause, we'll reset the voice volume. But then on enter pause, set voice volume, and volume we'll set down to -20. Okay, so let's see how that works. Let's save our session, go into our demo session, and we're going to add some of the new events that we need. So enter pause, exit pause, and game start is what we use. So if we go game start. Okay, so we'll stop all, reset all. Now if we go game start, our ambience fades in. That's good. Now let's do enter pause. Nothing. Okay, that's what we were looking for. And you'll notice here that the game start event still has a voice playing. Now if we exit, it comes back. That's perfect. That's exactly as the design says. However, what I'm worried about is that it's still a little bit jarring. So let's go to our enter pause. Let's close down Sandcaster, go into enter pause, and let's do a fade on here. So let's give it a 2-second fade. And on exit pause, we'll give it a 2-second fade. So now we go back to our Soundcaster session. Game start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's good. Now enter pause should have a 2-second fade out. Perfect. And 2-second fade in. Excelente. Muy caliente. All right. So that's it for this one, guys. I'll be back soon with the jump content.